last night.
Oh, that's just sad, Patrick.
Maybe I'll grab a glass of wine in a little while.
I have this lovely little Spanish thing, a marionette. Uh, my pretty little Spaniard. They're good at soccer and wine. That's pretty much it. But hey, that's enough. Okay, if you're a Spaniard out there and you hate me now, come in and tell me what's wrong. I'm trolling you.
Why can't I find the damn notice before that I got? I love to hate computers.
Well, I tell you what, the hate doesn't do any good, whatever. It doesn't make the computer behave.
It's Google and Windows 10 and all things like that. It's just they flash a notice in front of you, and before you have a chance to respond to it, it disappears. I'm like, wait a minute, where'd it go? Okay, I'm gonna go to my community in my YouTube and see if I can find it in all of the comments.
Oh, okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to just tell people. It's just right now it's Patrick Festa and me, Paul Carr. And it may just be Patrick and me for the whole time. Who knows? But we have invited a lot of other people. At present, let's see, there's the usual cast of characters who said they were going, and 3 of them have not shown up. And that is just shameful. And they have not like they haven't received multiple invitations. And let's see who else was I. Oh yeah, Mike Bowler, Buckfield, and Dean Callahan. Have all received invitations 3 times. So I don't know what's wrong. Maybe something wrong with the invitation process. I have one live viewer. If you're viewing live, welcome. Let's see. I think I can maybe see your comments. No, actually I can't on this one. I'm going to have to go to the other thing. The thingy. Hold on. But you can always tweet in at podcast unseen using hashtag pub3. Sorry, unseen upub3 or pub3. I'll take either one. And I am keeping an eye on Twitter. So okay, I'm not just following pretty girls who say they like space. I'm also doing a serious job on Twitter. Let's see. Once they see me on live on video, okay, let's see. Yeah, I haven't got any notifications on Twitter, but if you want to tweet to us, we're at podcast unseen, and our hashtag that I prefer you use is upub3. This is unseen pub number 3. I am not the host. We don't have a host. We have Patrick, who I think is as much a host as I am at this point. And Patrick is having lots of fun with his software. No, you hear that sigh? That sigh means not so much fun.
I'm down to 10 months ago on my YouTube comments, and I can't find that damn comment that told me where to find that software in the first place. I even subscribed to the guy's channel.
So where are your Google skills?
I don't know. Maybe I lost them last night underneath the wine.
Okay, but you're drinking soda tonight.
I know, but still.
By the way, I'm drinking something that's 50% Monastrell, 50% Syrah, and it's quite good. From Spain. See, I don't know my way around Spain very well, but it says product of Spain. I'd like to go to Spain. If you've ever been to Spain and have something to say about that, come on and talk to us. Where's the best place to go in Spain?
You're asking me? I don't know.
No, I'm asking whoever's watching the video right now. If, by the way, if you're watching and you would like to come in, then that's certainly possible. Hold on, just I will. Let's see. I will be looking at the live chat in just a second here. There may be a bit of echo for a few seconds. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah. Okay, I'm now looking at the live chat and I don't see anything. But if you're out there watching, by all means, by the way, if you're wondering how I got to be so good looking, you're drunk.
I'm frustrated, but I'm going to give it up. It's just the notice was right there. Now it's gone.
I'm hearing a weird echo. I think it may stop. Okay. Yeah, it stopped. It's because I had a very slight volume on my other window that I'm watching the live chat. It'll stop soon. It's kind of actually kind of interesting sound.
I just found it, I think. Oh, it was Social Dogma that gave me the notice. I might have been looking for the wrong person. All right, so let me reply to him. I found this software, but Windows. Oh.
We're getting a nice view of your head now, Patrick.
That's because I hunt and peck on the keyboard.
We shall overcome.
Install. Install. It. Okay, Mr. Social Dogma, there's your reply, and thanks for showing me such a great piece of software that I can't even run.
Okay, well, now, all right. Now that you've talked about things that frustrate and annoy you, let's talk about Donald Trump. That goes from things that frustrate and annoy me to things that just fucking piss me off. Okay, okay. We got this hashtag MAGA. What is, obviously G doesn't stand for great. What does it stand for? It's not groovy either. Okay, so groovy doesn't count. Okay, I've got comments here. Uh-oh. I got okay, people are getting problems getting in.
I got the link.
Yeah, you did. Mike Bowler says he's having trouble getting in. And Buckfield says, I'm here, but he's not here. Okay, Buck. Okay, look, I'm just going to comment. I'm going to.
I would not recommend making it public.
I have made it public.
Oh,
And you know what? I don't care.
because some jerks will come in and snipe us. Sniping is still going on.
Well, you know, yeah, I mean, what can they do, right?
They can snipe you. Your own hangout.
Yeah, well, let them snipe. We'll embarrass them with reason and facts.
No, I mean snipe meaning they kick you out of your own hangout.
No, they won't do that.
Well, they're okay. All they have to do is see me in here, and they'll say, "Oh, Pat Festa, let's go sniping. Let's go snipe his boss too."
Well, it's not. If that happens, I'd be very surprised. But
It happens to me. It happens to a lot of people right now. Ever since Google did that, what's up, Mike? Ever since Google did that with the stupid.
I got an email. Hold on a second.
Can't hear you, Mike. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess Buck and.
Oh, we have Mike.
They just saw. Price just saw the
Excellent.
message.
Okay, I just had an email to. Oh, there's Mike, and there's
Dean.
Dean.
Dean, hi.
Hi, Dean. We haven't met before.
No, I have not met any of you.
Okay, well, let me tell you who we got here so far. Mike Bowler, best known as Skeptic's Guide to Conspiracy, and Patrick Festa, who's obsessed with chess software, and is sober tonight for some reason.
I'm not exactly sober myself.
Well, that's not required. Cheers. Oh, what's that? Oh, it is St. Patrick's Day.
Well, yes. Well, my wife got me some nice glasses.
Callahan's
Yeah.
Bar. Oh, sounds good.
This is not a stout. It's a porter. It's local, not Irish.
It'll have to do. Actually, Guinness is pretty mediocre in my opinion, but a lot of people think they drink a Guinness. Oh, I'm Irish today.
Yeah, I like drinking it in the Netherlands.
It's probably a lot better there. Oh, you
Yeah.
got to where do you live now?
I live in Baltimore.
Oh, that's near me. Okay.
Yep.
I'm in northern Montgomery County.
Uh-huh.
Mike's in near Chicago somewhere, right, Mike?
Yeah, southwest of Chicago.
And Patrick's in
Joyzy.
the Lost Lands. Actually, I lived in New Jersey for 9 years, so I have I actually approve of New Jersey.
Yeah, never been there. I've been there many times, never lived there.
Well, I lived in Princeton, which I dearly loved. Hated to leave.
Yeah, well, I don't love Baltimore. I left because my wife told me I promised her I would move when I quit my job.
Oh,
And she wouldn't lie, so I'm sure she's right. I don't remember it myself, but I quit. I used to live in Seattle, so
oh man.
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. You don't have the Baltimore accent clearly, so you're
No.
not from there. You're not from there.
No, I'm an accent-free Northwestern U.S. person, so to speak.
Now, tell you about the pub. All the rules. Let me tell you all the rules of the pub. There are no rules of the pub. Okay, that's all the rules.
Okay.
I want to try something.
Go ahead.
I'm on the webcam mic right now, but I'm gonna switch it to studio instead of voice, and you tell me what happens.
Okay.
Okay, now we're on studio.
We'll sing
I
an
don't
R.
get much change.
Oh, there's an echo.
There's
Huge
more
echo?
echo now. Oh yeah.
Huge echo.
Yeah, that happens with studio. I just had to try it. Let me go back to.
Well,
voice.
if you sing an aria, maybe
Okay,
we'll.
we're back on voice. I still like to use my nice mic, but that's all right.
Yo, well, you got to put the headphones on though, Patrick. That's the only way to make that
Yeah,
work.
you need if you have. Yeah. Sometimes Google is okay with their filtering, but usually.
Well, I use my nice mic. It's not really that nice. It's only a $40 mic, but it's this thing. I use it to make my videos, so they sound nice.
I have never owned a really expensive mic. This
Well,
one,
you still got a
this one, $250.
yeah. Well,
That's
more
the
expensive
best
than
mic I
$40.
ever bought.
There he is.
Oh, Buck Field
Yeah, it's a lot more than $40.
from
This is a Radio Shack $40 mic.
Buck Field from Patagonia. Hello, your mic is
Patagonia,
muted.
South America?
Yeah,
Son of a gun.
no, actually Buck
Muted.
Field. But he's got his mic muted.
Yeah.
You see what happened to me? Lost a tooth, and that's a denture.
Now, Patrick, if you call somebody a fucking asshole, they're gonna hit you.
No, I was eating chicken. I was just getting ready to go to the chess club. I was eating supper, and I was getting ready to go. And all of a sudden, I realized out of my dentures, there's a tooth missing. What the hell?
Oh, that's out of your dentures?
But
Yeah.
you the Juju bee?
It was. And then I tried to call
It's a saltwater taffy in New Jersey. It's terrible.
Yeah, saltwater taffy, Juju bees.
And then I tried to call the dentist that made these damn things. I had a set of dentures that lasted me 35 years, and they insisted that I get another set. And I went to this damn welfare dentist. I don't know.
Hey, Buck.
I don't know.
Buck, can you hear us? No, Buck is muted right now for some reason. Oh, okay.
I think he's slowly coming online.
It just takes a long time for the signal to get away here from Chile.
Yeah, all that far away. Toby, where are you? Pudla. Okay. I might have to relocate
Oh,
downstairs. We have a guest. He might need to go to bed
oh,
just to get up early.
I hate that.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Well, I don't hate it when other people have to get up early. I hate it when I have to get
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I hate getting up early, even though I have to do it almost every day. But not tomorrow.
Yep, no, not tomorrow. So you're Paul Carr. I see you on the internet all the time there on my Google.
Yeah, yeah. I have a internet posting problem. I'm trying to get help for it.
Oh, really? Well, you could just well, it's impossible to get help for things like that, I thought.
Well, I mean, okay, there's tobacco, there's alcohol, there's heroin, there's crack cocaine, and then there's posting on the internet. That's a last
You know,
one.
I've never done heroin or crack cocaine.
Yeah.
I smoked a lot of weed in my teenage days.
I've
Yeah.
done that. I've dropped a lot of acid. I love acid.
Well, but that's not that addictive. Posting on the internet
Yeah, it's
is
kind of
addictive.
anti-addictive, really. I haven't done it since '95, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me that they did hallucinogenic drugs at one point and then they stopped and then they don't miss it. Buck, can you hear us? Buck can hear us, but we can't hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
I think he's eating
He's probably on a Windows machine.
whatever they eat in Chile that he's eating. I have no idea. Well, anyway, Buck has been on Buck, Patrick, and Mike have both been on lots of Unseen Podcast episodes, but this is not an episode. This is just like a
Right.
whole-
Yes, to tell you the truth, I have never even listened to a podcast in my whole life.
Oh, that's
Except my wife sometimes has them on her iPod when we're driving. So I've heard, I don't know, some NPR things. I forget what they are.
well.
This is the life, or This American Life. I don't know.
I get in my car and I think, okay, podcast, audiobook, or music. And about half the time podcast wins.
I usually go with silence or music myself. I like, I'm a classical music person, so I like to listen to that, or rock and roll. The thing is, I just, paying attention to something going on while I'm driving, I just don't like too much.
Well, that's true. I mean, but yeah, and sometimes it's hard when I drive in Prince George's County, Maryland, where you have every driving style that ever existed, including, lots of developing world driving approaches.
Right, and lots of decaying infrastructure and inadequate numbers of lanes and things like that.
Well, I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with people who think that lane changes are their sacred right, regardless of who's in front of them or so
Right, and signaling. If you signal, that just makes
Oh.
people want to cut you off, so you don't signal.
signaling is forbidden in Prince George's County. It's death penalty.
One,
So,
2, 3, 4.
Hey, I hear you, Buck.
5, 6,
Okay.
7, 8, baby.
Buck, we have Dean Callahan. I don't think you've met before,
Nope, have not.
and Mike Bowler and Patrick Festa, who I'm sure you have.
No, I did hear about the LSD experience and was very interested. The only thing like that, I think, although not that much like it, that I tried was mushrooms twice, which I did some very good math. I'm going to say probably the best math I ever did on my life on mushrooms.
I can believe it. I like doing math on acid. Generally,
okay.
fractal type shit. I was really into Mandelbrot's back in the late 80s.
Oh, I worked with him at IBM.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, I was
Yeah.
really into Pekin and Richter book, and me and my friends, we made movies and stuff.
I have never gotten my hands on a copy of The Fractal Geometry of Nature.
I have.
Which apparent
I have a copy of that
you do.
somewhere.
I used to have a copy of that. The house flooded though, and my books molded.
Wait, was it which was the first one? Was it that, or was it Fractals, Form, Chance, and Dimension?
I don't have that one.
No, I think it was the first one, the Fractal Geometry of Nature.
Okay,
The
the first
Mandelbrot
one.
book. Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay, the first one was I had heard, and I was trying to get a copy of it. I'd heard that it was so arrogant and offensive that IBM had bought all the copies of it and then had them pulped.
That doesn't
Really,
make
has anyone
sense.
done that with Stephen Wolfram's book?
Sorry?
Oh,
Oh, you mean the new kind of
snarky
science?
joke,
No,
Kind of
no.
Science.
The Fractal Geometry of Nature available in hardcover on Amazon for $31.41.
Okay, what about Form, Chance, and Dimension?
I'm getting to that. Hold on.
That one, I don't think I've even heard of that one. Is that
I have-
Mandelbrot also?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I haven't heard of it.
Oh, that'll cost you $94.30.
Ah,
There's still some around.
The hardcover. Wait a minute. Okay, there's a hardcover available for $195.01, and then there's one in good,
Get up,
very
get up.
apparently in mint condition for $835.97.
come on, Papa.
Yeah,
Get
it's
up.
full of stuff like no one before me has really appreciated the importance of this and that. It was
Right.
just like, it was so offensive that like IBM was like, we cannot. And he was talking a lot about the work that
Okay,
he'd done.
wait a
at
minute. We
IBM.
have another participant. Who's that?
Oh, that's Toby.
Toby. Okay, Toby. Welcome, Toby.
Brownie Sunflower Noodle Poodle.
Tell Toby to put some headphones on.
Yeah. Well, she's gonna go back downstairs, right? Oh no, she's gonna stay here. Toby. Okay, time to get down. Good girl.
Wait, a girl named Toby?
Yes. Well, you would call her a tomboy if you saw her. Everyone thinks she's a boy.
Oh,
She's
she's
shy and
transgender.
very rambunctious.
Well, that's generally true of other species. We don't know what gender they are unless we look into their rear ends. But I have some very aggressive female cats
Oh, ha 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 ha.
who will sometimes who can terrify our dogs.
Cats can generally terrify any other species. They terrify me. 'Cause they'll just throw themselves in and start clawing.
I'm not fooled by that. I can take a little bit of bleeding and cuts.
So, Dean, where are you?
I'm in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. And Mike?
You know where Mike is?
Yeah. Southwest Chicago.
Oh,
On the south side of Chicago,
Joliet.
in the
I
baddest
heard
part
that's
of
the
town.
baddest part of town. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, sorry. Cheap joke. Everyone got that one.
Yeah, well, you have to be a certain age to get that one.
Who's that song?
My kids would have no idea what you're talking.
Who was that song? Forget.
Bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town.
Oh, that's right. That was
Jim Croce?
He actually did two. He did two songs, both about some badass guy getting his ass kicked by a smaller guy, and they both were huge hits.
Then he offed himself.
Did he off himself? I thought he died of
think
natural
so, yeah.
causes.
I think he offed himself.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, probably for writing all those. Probably for having to play. Somebody said play Working at the Car Wash Blues, and he just killed himself.
He probably promised him, if I have to play Leroy Brown one more time, I literally will kill myself. And then he did. And so he was probably an honorable man.
Well, that's what I heard about Keith Emerson. That Keith Emerson died recently. The famous prog keyboard player, and his hands were so badly messed up he couldn't play anymore, and he had a gig coming up, and he just couldn't face that he couldn't play. So he didn't have dementia or anything. He just offed himself because he couldn't make music anymore.
Well, if that's your life.
Yeah. Hunter S.
know.
Thompson did the same thing at like 58.
58. That's younger than me.
I'm not quite there yet. I don't think I would have the gumption to actually go through with it.
Well, I just don't. I mean, suicide's something I think about a lot, but not for myself. But why
I would have high
I
hopes.
wish others would do it.
you were hoping I would, but no. But no, I think about it. Why various people do it. Now, in some cases, it's very clear because they're facing a life that is not a good life from that point on. There's a lot of rumors that Terry Pratchett had himself euthanized because he had early onset Alzheimer's.
With rapid degradation. Do I have to go downstairs, Don? Yeah, okay, I've got to go downstairs.
Well, you got to do what the boss says.
Yep. Yeah, well, the guestie has to get up early. I'll just go ahead and go down.
Hello, Mrs. Dean.
They say hello, Mrs. Dean. She can't hear you because she's not wearing the headphones.
Okay, well, we'll wait for you.
Okay, I'm going. Oh.
You want me to carry anything? I'll take
No, I'm just taking this. I'll take a.
Okay, well, anyway.
Okay, my screen is kind of frozen, but I can hear you.
Okay, good. We'll wait for you to come back. But
okay, I might have to leave and rejoin my little camera.
Actually, we won't wait at all. We'll just bullshit.
Just keep going.
Keep bullshitting. That's pretty much all we do on this thing. We just bullshit.
Okay, yeah, it looks like I have to quit and rejoin.
I was hoping. I know Chiro's not joining us. I was hoping Nick might.
That's how you say his name. Chiro Villa.
Chiro Villa.
I still think it was Ciro.
Ciro Villa. Yeah.
Patrick, he's a fellow Italian. You gotta.
Toby, go upstairs. Go on up.
Aren't you guys all in the same club?
Go on up.
That's two wrong answers I got on this chess tactics.
Well, I can't possibly figure that out in the 1 second you held it up. But
Wait, what's the question?
I said I got wrong on this chess tactics. My rating is going to go down.
yes, as well it should. You know who's a really good chess player? Is my father-in-law. I'm terrified of playing him.
Why?
Because he's so good. I mean, he kicked my ass.
So,
Okay, I'll be back.
It really wouldn't. It wouldn't be a worthy contest.
Hey, did you have
Oh,
your
okay.
sunglasses down when you said that?
Pardon?
Everybody's got
Now, my father-in-law is actually quite a good chess player. He's approaching 90 years old.
Wow.
And he plays chess every day online. And live.
He loves Trump.
He despises Donald Trump
Oh,
with all his soul and heart and mind.
That's three I got wrong.
so it's kind of keeping him sharp.
It does, and I think that, and he's also quite a good pianist. He plays piano every day. He used to be
Bleeding heart liberal.
He went to Oberlin College and actually majored in music.
Okay, tell me no more.
And
He's a tree hugger.
well, no, he's not a tree hugger. He doesn't.
Oberlin plays chess, hates Trump, plays a piano.
Well, no, wait. Buck, you haven't been here, lady. Everybody hates Trump. Well, that's not everybody, but everybody with a college degree hates Trump.
let me introduce you
and
to
quite a
my
few with a no
family.
degree.
Do what?
I said, and quite
What was
a few without a degree.
Yeah. I am trying to figure out how to talk to my family.
What's wrong with your family?
Facts don't matter.
Facts don't matter. Well, I don't know if you've ever been involved in religion, but
Yes, I'm involved in a religion.
and facts
But-
don't matter.
Yeah, not that the Democrats are any better, but they're just slimy in kind of a slightly less damaging way, I think. But like, I was. Did you see this? Did you see this video? It went viral on YouTube about the girl who confronted Spicer at the Apple iPhone store.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Nick's here.
Hey, Nick. Oh,
Hello.
Project Astrolabe is here.
I had to change from I had my email open in the Firefox, and Firefox no longer supports this, so I had to swap over to my Chrome browser, which
Me
is
too.
logged in as Icarus Astrolab.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Well, welcome, Nick.
What have I missed? What have I missed?
A lot of
We're trying to
we're
figure
talking
out how
about
to
Donald
talk to-
Trump.
And how to talk to supporters. This is my thing is I'm dealing with parents who are they watch Fox News, and it's their primary source of information, and then they whatever is said that day is what they believe. And when it was death panels, they were really against the death panels. And then when that was exposed as a fraud, it just faded from memory. And then it was on to the next thing about the media. It was like the Trayvon Martin kid who had gotten shot. The media was portraying him as this nice kid, and really he looked like this. And then there was a picture on this email that they got when I was visiting. They showed me this email of this guy that looked like much older to me. And I was like, well, this doesn't look right. Who is this? So it took me like 10 seconds to Google this picture, and it's some rapper who's like 30. And this was an email that they got from some Republican friends of theirs. And this is what they believe. They believe that there's this conspiracy to make African Americans look unfairly favorable, unrealistically favorable, and they're lying about the world. And this is just, there was this guy. Have you heard of the? I think it's the Golden Fleece Award, where these Republicans talk about government waste in the National Science Foundation.
Well, the Golden Fleece Award I thought started with William Proxmire, who was, I'm
Yeah,
not sure if he's a Republican.
That was all Proxmire. Yeah.
And he was especially interested in showing what he believed to be waste in the space program, but it wasn't particularly partisan. It was more like William Proxmire's personal crusade to eliminate what he considered to be waste in government.
He successfully eliminated SETI from the budget.
Yeah. Not only did he eliminate it, but he made it to the point where, and I think NASA won't even mention SETI in any documents of anything to do with funding whatsoever.
They can't. No, by law.
I walked into the living room one day, and my parents were in a lather over the fantastic waste, the $5 million that had been spent on a shrimp treadmill. And this was proof that the government support of science needed to be slashed to eliminate this kind of waste. $5 million for a shrimp treadmill, for a little treadmill for shrimp to run on. And I was like, well, that seems like a lot. That seems like a lot of money. And I said, well, and they agreed, you know, my parents both agreed. And I said, well, why do they want to spend this kind of money on a shrimp treadmill? And the answer I got was, exactly, why? And I said, well, okay, let's find out. So I Google it, and it turns out that it was like $5,000, not $5 million. It was part of a $5 million appropriation for all kinds of research, and it was to basically to design to assess. It was proposed that if you put a little treadmill onto shrimp, you could detect infections in these high density tanks that they grow. They grow these shrimp. Commercial shrimp farming operations have these tanks where these shrimp are like really packed in, and they get these infections that kills off entire crops really fast. And so this guy was saying, well, maybe we can stop the losses on that, which it's a big industry. Maybe we can prevent some of these losses if we can detect the illness before the shrimp actually die. Maybe if we see how fast they can run and swim, we can detect this illness. And so he had put together a prototype that was like, he spent like $500 of his own money, which he doesn't make that much. And he made this prototype, and he said, well, it seems to work, but we need a better one. We need one that costs about 10 times as much, about $5,000. And so that's what he got out of this massive appropriation. But it was presented on Fox News and in this Republican bubble. It was presented as $5 million spent on a useless shrimp treadmill that nobody was interested in researching what it was for or why. And when I went back to them, they went, huh, and then back to watching TV. No recognition that they were being lied to. I mean, it lied to in the sense of deliberate ignorance, and it's all like, if our side wins. Now, so that, and as far as that perspective goes, I think the Democrats are just as bad, but it seems to me like they're less cruel. The Democrats, I think, are slightly less cruel, but you know, toward the weak. But I'm really struggling to find a way to reach them.
Maybe there is no way. I mean, maybe that once one's established one's biases, they're very impervious to penetration.
So am I to understand it's your parents you're struggling to reach?
Yeah.
Well, my general principle on reaching people is you've got to find them where they're at and not where you want them to be. So I would urge you to enter into their frame of mind, and obviously you've known them a long time, your entire life, so you have a long time to engage with them. I find that when I have conversations with members of my family with whom I share almost zero in terms of political views,
Yeah.
I never hit people over the face with my disagreements with them. I don't say, well, you say X, I say Y, and we're never going to meet anywhere, much less in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But I certainly do approach it obliquely. And if they have some belief that I think is egregiously wrong or divergent from my own views, I try to find some common ground and build from there. And I think sometimes, certainly not always, successful. But I also noticed that after the conversation is over, it usually goes back to square one, and I haven't made much progress in the big picture of the long term. So I see we have a new guest.
Well, actually, Dean's back. He was here earlier on.
I had to defuck the situation. It got fucked.
Oh, yeah. I'm currently working on my chapter on defuckification of. Welcome back, Dean.
Thank you, Paul.
Oh, there's Chiro. Awesome.
Hey, fucking A.
Chiro. Chiro, welcome. You hear us?
It takes a while to join.
Chiro usually has to fiddle this audio for about 5 minutes.
Okay. Chiro, when you get your audio fixed, you can answer the ultimate question. Is it Ciro or is it Chiro?
No, we already answered that one.
I want to hear from his mouth.
He's first generation. You're like what? And 15th generation or something? Oh my
Yes,
goodness,
yes,
folks! I am out.
Well, I just switched to so you're out and I'm in.
No.
I'm not out yet. I'm working on it, and I've got one more, so I won't be back for a
Oh.
while. Although technically, if I have one more, I'll be
How do you say that in Irish?
not drunk, but having drink taken.
Fuck the English.
Okay, yeah, well, don't have to do that. They're doing it to themselves. Like if they say "fuck the Americans," we could say the same thing.
We can say fuck the Americans too.
Well, I could say that. I say that every day.
I'm curious about what kind of situation that.
But if
You
you're
might
if,
be
if-
in every
but if
day.
you're Irish, saying "fuck the English," no, don't say "fuck." You say "fuck."
Fuck.
Fuck the English is well they use the word "fuck" as punctuation basically, but they really do have a historical
Test.
imperative for saying that.
There he is.
Test. 1, 2, 3, test.
Hello, Chiro.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so which is it, Ciro or Chiro?
We can hear you, Chiro.
I don't know why I am so loud in my own headphone, though.
Fuck, how many years have we been doing this shit?
Wait a minute. We were talking about acid trips earlier, Chiro. This is different. I'm so loud in my own headphones. Ah.
I don't do this often enough.
So brown.
Who here likes the HBO series Silicon Valley?
I have not been watching it.
I don't get HBO.
No.
I do
Well-
like The Expanse.
Oh no.
Never seen an episode.
Silicon Valley. There's a scene. Well, there's this comical character named Erlich Bachman, and he does magic mushrooms.
Oh, there we go.
In order to come up with a better name for the company that the startup that they're working for,
Mhm.
and he goes off to and does well. He figures he's going to go off somewhere up high in the hills. And he stuffs a lot of magic mushrooms in his mouth, and he ends up getting stuck in traffic. And then he starts hallucinating all these names for companies, and it's one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen on television.
I hope he's recording himself.
I thought
There's nothing like
microdoses
there's
of
nothing,
LSD.
really. If I had life logged myself in the '80s when I was dropping acid all the time, that would have been great.
You probably would have been a successful startup in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, well, yes, I suppose.
So how about it, Ciro? Am I saying it right, or is it Chiro?
It's Chiro.
Oh,
Churro, not churro.
Okay, I'm gonna go get some more wine. Talk amongst yourselves.
oh well.
Okay, so mushroom hallucinations.
I find them very geometrical, as opposed to acid, which is more swirly.
Visual. These are
In
visuals
terms
that
of
you
visuals, yes. Well, generally with your eyes closed, listening to music.
Okay.
That was, back in the day when I did that shit. That's what I liked most.
How come
Wouldn't
every time I join these hangouts, you guys are talking about mushrooms?
Psilocybin.
Wouldn't it depend on the species of mushroom that one is using? That the psilocybin mushrooms are obviously going to have a different effect than the toadstools or whatever one is used in the rituals that they show in the film Altered States.
Yeah, I don't know what other hallucinogens are in the different mushrooms. I've only had psilocybin type.
Yeah. But
Oh,
I have some very strange wiring. For example, I I was having some surgery done, and I was given Valium. It made me very agitated. I started having I got very upset, I guess what they call a paradoxical effect. And I've noticed this with other things as well, where, you know, something that's supposed to be a sedative has a very agitating effect.
Yeah, you're a biochemical minority. There's some people that drink coffee and get sleepy, and drink alcohol and get stimulated by it. So there are a few people like that. But it's definitely the far end of the bell curve.
Yes, I do not get the munchies when I smoke marijuana.
No, I don't. I don't usually.
Practically, the last thing I want to do is eat when I get high.
What do you feel motivated to do? Or do you feel
generally
motivated?
listen to music or write programs,
Okay.
which is generally what I am motivated to do when I'm not smoking pot.
Okay, because
Or
when
design algal bioreactors. That's about it. Programming algal bioreactors.
Okay.
No, okay. What kind of bioreactor?
Algae and algal turf scrubber.
Oh yeah, tell us more.
Yeah.
That's what I do. It's It's generally for cleaning non-point source pollution from, like, you know, phosphate, nitrate type shit.
So fertilizer, that sort of thing.
Yes, like all the fresh water in the whole world.
And
All the ag runoff and shit like that.
what comes out of the reactor? Interesting.
Clean oxygenated water.
Cool.
That's a nice output.
So why aren't you a billionaire?
Well, here's my joke. So what's worse than having a disgusting, lethal, toxic algal bloom offshore of your tourist town?
I have no
Having a
idea.
great solution for it that no one wants to buy.
Well, what's worse is paying any money whatsoever to do anything about it. That's why I'm not a billionaire currently. Although I'm still working on it. You know, eventually it gets so bad that sometimes some people do pilot studies. Then it's getting worse and worse. I mean, look at fucking Des Moines, Iowa, and look at all sorts of places. So.
Wait, what about Des Moines? That's like my childhood home.
Well, do you know who Bill Stowe is? The Des Moines
No.
Waterworks. He runs the Des Moines Waterworks. So they just sued the upstream counties for putting so much nitrate in the water that they had to spend millions of dollars to try to clean it up. And by cleaning it up, I mean like bringing it down to like 11 parts per thousand nitrate, which is high. I mean, no one should drink it.
Now that Trump has straightened it out, you know, all they have to do is claim that they're a mining company and they can get away with almost anything.
So anyway, the state legislature has decided to vote to dismantle the Des Moines Waterworks, to punish Bill Stowe for suing the upstream counties.
Great.
No good deed goes unpunished.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Wow. Well, it will open up more opportunities for consumer choice.
Yes, well, there's all sorts of possibilities. I mean, if we can find good places where the local consumers are so pissed off that they'll do crowdfunding, we're looking at that. So,
But you can't get local government.
There's no one. I mean, there's no money in it right now. So, it's
well, there's got to be billions and billions of tons of fertilizer running off into the fresh water.
Yes. Actually, I'm just about to submit a paper on that, probably this weekend. Submitting to Science, actually, because they reject you quickly, and then I can quickly run down the scale of other journals if they don't accept me. So. But basically, how much algae would it take to clean up all the waters from their nitrogen and phosphorus?
Well, without algae, we wouldn't even be able to breathe, right? I mean, they produce most of the oxygen.
Yes, well, yeah, a third to a half, yeah. And this, what we do is basically we facilitate the growth of pre-existing algae in the natural waters. So it's like we get about 5 to 10 times the primary productivity of whatever the local agriculture is. It's really amazingly easy to do. But again,
is?
to get anyone not to grow algae the way we do it,
Mhm.
the way we don't do it any. If you are familiar with algae farming, with these rotating ponds with paddle wheels, it's nothing like that. We just sort of create a big flat field, with a gentle slope to it, and run water over it. And if you're familiar, I mean, wherever there's water, there's algae. Like fence posts, horse troughs, ditches. It wants to grow.
Mm-hmm.
We just provide a surface for it to grow on and put the water into it at an optimum with optimum hydrodynamics, and it just grows. You have to harvest it every week.
And then what do you do with
You're
it?
constantly harvesting algae because there's so much. In fact, our number one problem is the people we do pilot projects for is like, what the fuck are we going to do with all this algae?
Well, that was my question. What do you do with it?
Well, what do I do with it? What I think should be done with it is you should just spray it on the local agriculture fields
Oh,
because it will
for
just
fertilizer.
compost in place. And it's full of diatoms, so not only does it turn into fertilizer, the diatom shells are amorphous silica, so they retain water and nutrients. I mean, it's really, it sounds too good to be true, which I think makes people frightened, But we've demonstrated it's been done for 30 years.
How do you harvest it?
You turn the water off, let it drain out, scrape it off. I mean, we use for pilot systems. You use like a shop vac.
What if you can't? What if you can't drain the area?
You
what
could
if
just sort of
what if
scrape
it's an
it and let
ocean
it drain
area?
out and filter it out, maybe, or like run it into a settling pond of some kind.
Okay.
There's multiple ways to do every aspect of it, so it's it's going to be site specific often.
Okay. I was consulting with a executive who's in the salmon industry. Salmon is really big here, and algae
Where are
blooms
you?
are. I'm in Patagonia.
Okay.
In Chile?
Like farming salmon?
Yeah. So like it's zillions of tons of salmon per year come out of Chile.
Yeah.
And they have these huge operations. And one of their big problems is algae. Another one that we're working on some tactics for is sea lions. How to prevent sea lions
from coming in and eating your crop.
Right. And they are really tenacious, especially when they're starving, and they're really smart.
Right. You can transport them thousands of miles and they come right back.
Yeah, and
They're
you can't.
like sea squirrels then. Yeah, okay.
They're like sea squirrels that are protected in that you cannot harm them.
Right. They're 2-ton sea squirrels that are starving and aggressive.
Okay,
Yeah.
2-ton sea. That's the title for this episode. All right.
No, the algae problem. If you have access to land or marine construction to build docks or something or piers,
Yeah.
we create an algae bloom that stays where it is that we control.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to something happening out in the offshore that then washes up and rots, and then we harvest it. And so if you're not going to spray the algae on local farms, and especially if it's a marine algae, you can't really do that. That's our number one problem is figuring out what to do with the algae.
Oh.
I think
it
you
would
could
be
probably
salty.
rinse it. You could probably rinse it with fresh water, like maybe
Yeah.
streams just before they get into the ocean.
Mhm.
And you could also compost it. And you could compost it. Interestingly, if you compost it, it's very high ash. So if you compost it, it basically turns into topsoil. You don't have to add anything to your compost to make a container growth medium.
Okay.
So yes, why am I not a billionaire? There's 10 people in the world who do this right now, and none of them except me have any concept of trying to do some sort of entrepreneurship. And believe me, I'm working on it, but no one's paying me, and fuck, man, it's a lot of work.
Talk to SpaceX. Maybe they'll be able to terraform Mars.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Have you-
I'll get you in touch with Elon, my good buddy.
Have you heard of Nathan Morrison and Sustainable Now Technologies, which is building modules that use algae to generate oxygen, hopefully for future space missions?
no, let me pull up a little document here, and I can put that name in. I actually, one of my side projects is designing an algal turf scrubber recycle shit, literally, and other things in space. Imagine a Bigelow module with a bunch of turf scrubbers in it. Now imagine this. Are you familiar with hydroxyl ammonium nitrate?
No.
No.
Okay. Okay. Stand by. I'm going to create a new project. It'll take me. I have to concentrate on clicking buttons, and I'm not a multitasker here. Creating a document here. I'll just save it on my fucking desktop for now.
Take your time.
I'm taking
Nathan
my time.
Nathan Morrison
Nick
spoke
can tell us
about
what he's eating.
my lentil soup. I made myself a big crock pot of lentil soup.
Oh,
Came out good this time.
Okay, yes, I'm ready. What was that company or person you named? Whoever you are.
Sustainable Now Technologies, and the fellow who I heard speak about it was Nathan Morrison. He's the CEO of Sustainable Now Technologies.
Okay, good. Thank you.
He gave a presentation at the 2015 Icarus Interstellar Starship Congress in Philadelphia at Drexel University, which I attended, and he talked about their building of modules that could be used to supply oxygen for space travel or space settlement.
Yes, I think I could provide drinking water and oxygen by recycling CO2 and other waste products, shit and piss, and frankly anything else that has carbon and nutrients in it.
Well,
So hydroxyl ammonium nitrate, it's what it sounds like. It's a hydroxyl ammonium ion and a nitrate ion. And it's an ionic liquid, but the beauty is it's a monopropellant, and it has a higher specific impulse than what's the popular propellant?
hydroxyl.
Not hydroxyl, hydrazine.
Hydrazine.
Really?
No.
Yes, it's higher specific impulse than hydrazine, and it has almost no.
What?
It has almost no vapor pressure.
Well,
It's a
hydrogene's
green-
only
green
about
propellant. No, NASA
220
is going to
seconds.
launch a test satellite to use it in space.
cool.
It's wherever you use hydrazine, you could theoretically.
You got my
use-
attention with hydrazine because that's what I live with.
Oh,
But,
really? And you're
yeah.
still alive, so you do it correctly.
Well, I mean, that's what the systems I work on use hydrazine almost ubiquitously.
Right. Well, this is the green monopropellant.
I'm all for it.
Yes. So I think it could be made from biomass, because the biomass is like 3% nitrogen and lots of oxygen. So
Yeah, well, if
hydroxyl
you
ammonia
make-
and hydrogen. So like H, N, and O. And so
If
I
you can
think
make-
I think I could build. I'll tell you now. I have not done any numbers on this because what little money I get goes to designing turf scrubbers for cleaning up shit, not space crap. But I mean, but imagine like a Bigelow module, full of turf scrubbers. It's got you dock. I call it Brown Dragon. So you have a Dragon module, for example. Dock to the space station. They put all their shit in there.
No, don't say that with it when I'm drinking.
So instead of burning it up in the atmosphere, it docks to my module. I convert everything to oxygen and water that goes back. So there's two dragons. There's the Brown Dragon and there's the Blue Dragon. So the Brown Dragon takes shit to my module, and the Blue Dragon takes oxygen and water back to all the very many space stations there will be. But also, and it makes its own propellant, from the waste. Solar power plus waste gives you oxygen, drinking water, and hydroxyl ammonium nitrate. Now, granted, it may not be. So, I mean, I might have to subsidize it with some launches, but I haven't worked out the numbers at all. The stoichiometry, all that is when I get a job, I'll have a graduate student, and they can do it for me.
That's everybody's dream, right? To have the graduate student do all the work.
Well, my dream. Well, first I need to get a job. Second, I need to get a graduate student.
Well, it sounds like you have some great ideas, though. I mean, I love this Brown Dragon idea. I think Elon needs to hear that.
Yes. Well, I've got 2 papers that have to come out before I can work on little white papers for Elon and stuff. But he's on my list.
I tell you what,
If you do know him, I mean, you can't just send shit to people and expect it to read them. I need people who know me and who know them to sort of stovepipe it up.
Absolutely, but this is our new mission in life now, to get you connected with Elon.
Yes, I
It's-
would definitely. I believe me, I am. I admire his megalomania. I suspect I'm near his megalomania.
Oh well, that
In
megalomania is something I don't have any experience of, but I would love to get megalomaniacs together, because neither of you want to kill anybody, right? So,
No, I'm probably the only person who can save the Earth. Actually, at this point.
oh well.
No, I'm publishing. That's the paper. My paper is like.
You should explicitly say that, because really seriously, the only people that get any attention are the ones who think they can, the ones that save the Earth.
Well, everyone else is bullshit. I mean, I've already got one paper out that basically calls bullshit on the entire algae biofuel thing. It's in ecological engineering. It's called Weeds in the Algae Garden.
You got to send me the link to that so I can. I mean, I have.
Okay, well, I'll post it.
There's several hundred people who listen to what I say.
Yeah. It's, well, that's good. I mean, all I need is the right one person who has money who's willing to pay me.
Hey, I'd be the kind of guy who'd be willing to like intercept Elon in an elevator and say, Dean Callahan has a great idea. Here's his card.
Okay.
I don't have great ideas, but you might.
It's not that hard to walk up to Elon Musk at a convention or something, which I did, and talk to him at I think it was San Diego AIAA, and I asked him about my pet project. He gave me ideas which I had already tried, and he gave me like 2 ideas, and I explained to him why. What had happened with both of them, which I'd already tried. And
someone's already done my search. Excellent. There it is.
Oh, Nick just posted the site. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm totally going to put that on Google Plus, and everything everywhere else. Okay.
Anyway, Dean, my advice to you is just find out where he's going to be at one of these conferences where he's going to be speaking, and then just kind of tail him until he's free, and make your 30-second pitch.
Okay. Well, I will look into that. I'm a member of the Mars Society. I never go to their meetings, but he sometimes goes.
Practice your elevator pitch on us.
Yes, I know. I've
No, elevator. You have to be under 30 to do an elevator pitch, don't you?
No.
No, it's all tech entrepreneur. I took a class on it. I know a lot of things that I need to do. I need to come up with my business canvas. And other things.
So, but that's all. This is turning into the best unseen pub ever, and it's all thanks to you, Dean.
It's what I do. Thank you.
What I'd like to know more about this, but I think you've got, ultimately we're going to have to sit in the clear light of day and sobriety. We're going to have to look at what you do and figure out how it helps. But when you mentioned replacing hydrazine, I was on your side.
Well, that's a side project from the main project. But
that's all I care about. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, but if you
frankly,
can produce
that's all I care about. I don't think I should be doing this. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. It's like, I need to wipe everyone's ass. Fuck. Okay. Well, no one's wiping their own ass, so I'm the only person to do it.
But
really,
I
should be working on space shit. All I really want to do is work on space life support type shit.
Well, you should, and I work at Goddard Space Flight Center. We should get you down there.
I could give a talk. I'd love to give a talk.
Yeah.
I've been told I give excellent talks. I think
we do science colloquiums every week. You should. I'll give you the connection to the right person.
Okay. Well, this is good because I'm just about to submit. I could give the paper before it's published.
Yeah. We had. I'm gonna tell you, you don't have to be a mainstream guy to get in the science colloquium. We had Ray Stanford once come down and Ray Stanford is as far out of the mainstream as you can get, but he has this incredible talent for finding dinosaur footprints.
Hmm.
And he found dinosaur footprints at Goddard
Fucking A. All right.
because his wife. Well, the story is really interesting. His wife works there, or used to work there. She retired now, but a few years ago, she was working there, and he came to pick her up, and he had a visitor badge because he's the spouse of a Goddard employee, and he was just wandering around the campus, waiting for her to be done with her work, and he came near a place where there's about to be a construction site for a new building. And this man has an incredible eye for dinosaur footprints or any kind of fossil. And he's found them all over Maryland. And he saw these rocks that got his attention. And he went over there and he goes, yeah, that's a footprint.
All right.
And-
Well, that's great. I mean, if you're
and-
into it, you get the eye for it.
And I personally had walked past those rocks several times and never seen that. And this elderly guy who's sort of like this weird genius who believes in all kinds of strange things that I won't go into right now, but
Yeah, I think I've heard the name, but go ahead.
Ray Stanford, he's a fascinating person, but he saw it and he alerted the people at Goddard, and they all went over there and they go, hell yeah, these are dinosaur footprints. And real paleontologists came in there and said, yeah, we agree. And there was about to be a huge construction project right next to that. So they went in there and they did imprints and grabbed all these rocks and so forth and took them away. And, this guy did a science colloquium at Goddard.
What kind of dinosaur?
Okay, you got me there. I don't know all the details, but I can look it up for you. I went to the colloquium.
It's probably bird-like.
No, not necessarily. But he not only does he find footprints, he finds evidence that they've fed somewhere. He finds evidence that they've, he doesn't find the bones. The bones are very rare. Bones of dinosaurs, especially in Maryland, the bones are extremely rare. But he does find these trace fossils where they have walked or fed.
Well, I would
Yeah.
think even like the footprints would even be more rare than the bones. I mean, the footprint can only be preserved if, like, after the footprint is in the mud, there's like a volcanic eruption that.
Well, that's what everybody thought until Ray came along. Ray, people, professional paleontologists have been over in Maryland, and they knew where the dinosaur bones were, and they were very, very tiny little bones scattered around. Fossils, you should know that fossils are very hard to find and very hard, and very, very few animals when they die leave a fossil.
Right. Well, like footprints, they have to be like
Yeah.
embedded
Just right.
suddenly in a substrate that they don't rot.
But Ray, who is not a professional paleontologist, does not have a degree in paleontology. When his children thought it would be interesting to find these, he went out and found a bunch of them. All over, he looked at a geological map. Now, he did it right. He looked at a geological map, saw where the Cretaceous exposures were around this. You understand that there's the Anacostia River, right, which runs by DC, down RFK Stadium and so forth, and it flows into the Potomac. There's a bunch of little streams that flow into the Anacostia. I happen to live right near one myself. And Ray said, well, I lived in Berwyn Heights. He still lives in Berwyn Heights, Maryland. And he said, there's one right near me. I'll go see what's over there. And he found a bunch of footprints. The professional paleontologist had completely whiffed. He found them. He's a very talented guy. And he's written professional papers in serious paleontological journals. So back to my main point. You can get into the Goddard Science Colloquium if you have something to say.
Okay,
And-
well, I've got plenty to say. In fact, I've been told to shut up on many
Well,
occasions.
that's a
because
good
I talk.
That's a good sign. Being told to shut up means somebody cares
Yes,
about what you're
yes.
saying, right?
Well, at the moment, I will shut myself up briefly because I have a lack.
Okay. Well,
Alack.
I know what a lack looks like. Yes.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting there too. I guess I gotta go refill mine too.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves. We'll be right back.
Alas and alack.
Oh.
Everybody leave their desks.
Well, someone has to hold the fort, although I'm dry here.
Well, now that
feel-
only the serious people remain.
Dark matter
Yeah.
or Mond? Dark matter or Mond?
Did you say dark matter or MOND? You mean modified Newtonian dynamics?
Yes.
Is that what's on your mind right now?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
back in the news. That's why.
Elevating the level of
another study.
discussion considerably.
There was another study about the dark matter gradient in
Yeah.
in the primordial galaxies,
Mhm.
and now the Mond crowd is coming back out from the woodwork. That
And then
kind of
there's another option too. Mike McCulloch's theory. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Have you heard of Mike McCulloch?
no, I don't believe so. What is it the theory about?
I will, if you give me a second, I will search for it. But it's not modified Newtonian dynamics, and it's not the conventional view.
Right.
While he's looking that up, by the way, Buck,
Yes.
right after speaking of the Unseen podcast, right after it was over, I looked it up right away, and I think I sent it out to a bunch of people. I'm not sure if I sent you one. The center of mass or center of gravity between the Earth and Moon is indeed below the surface of the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Quantized
don't think that was-
Unlike the Pluto-Charon system.
Right, which is exactly the point I was trying to make in the Unseen podcast, and somehow I got shut
Is
down.
it Chiron or Charon?
Chiron.
It's Chilon.
Okay.
Quantized inertia.
No, none of that.
Wait. Quantized inertia? Yeah.
Hey, you stepped away. You can't complain about change of topic if you step away.
The philosophy of quantum mechanics is a slight interest of mine.
Is that a rule? I thought this had no rules.
No, that's not a rule. No rule.
You stepped away.
You can spout complete bullshit and get away.
Well,
I can complain.
Chiro was talking about modified Newtonian dynamics, so I asked him if he had heard of Mike McCulloch and his theory. So that's why I was looking up quantized inertia. So I know it's fringe, but it's also, it's interesting even if it is fringe. It's like modified Newtonian dynamics is.
Does that have anything to do with emergent gravity?
That's different. That's
Okay.
different. Emergent gravity is actually taken seriously among theorists, but it's still very controversial, and we're talking about it's not going to affect our interpretation of observations anytime soon. But it might eventually. I mean, emergent gravity is actually very interesting.
There was a recent paper that put into question that talks about the dark matter gradient in primordial galaxies.
Yeah, I think
So-
it was Rhys Taylor had a really good post on that.
Yes, I'm so
Yep.
glad for Rhys, if that's his name, Rhys.
Rhys, I think.
He's definitely skeptical and helps me.
Oh, he's a fucking Welshman. Who cares?
Friend. Yeah, we own the space community together.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that is there's a lot of good ideas floating around, some of which are probably going to fail, but are good ideas to float up anyway. They're not woo. They're just
I agree. I think like everyone thinks modified gravity, but who can come up with an actual theory?
right. Well, you can
Not me. I'm just an observer.
There needs to
modified.
be some source of new ideas, and these theories are sources of new ideas.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between pseudoscientific nonsense and
And fringe science.
fringe science or sort of speculative theoretical science.
Yeah, well, all of string theory could be put in the basket of speculative theoretical science because there's nothing that can confirm or disconfirm it.
But there's some of the most brilliant people in the world are working on it. So
That's right. That's right. And so it's interesting stuff, and it's the real deal in terms of theoretical speculation, but it's not yet science because it's not it's not yet.
Maybe it speaks more to the psychology of addiction than to physical reality.
well,
You have beautiful theory and wanting to come up with great shit.
well, they can encompass
you.
the entire standard model, but the question is, how do you test it?
Well,
And
we can't test it yet, but that doesn't mean it will forever remain untestable.
that's
We
true.
just have to get it to higher energy levels, and we can do that with the mega structure built in space, which is why we need to get into space.
Right. Well, this is more like a gigastructure, Nick.
Right. Well,
we can kill two birds with
Or
one stone.
a terra structure.
We can put a magnetic field around Mars and build a large accelerator at the same time.
Well, you need an accelerator that's about the size of the galaxy to test string theory, but
Oh, okay. Well, I did not realize that.
why not? I mean,
Wouldn't it be much more cost effective to alter our conceptual structures in ways that have been proven successful at producing revolutionary paradigm change in the past?
no, because revolutionary.
Are we back to
No,
LSD?
you can't go back. Whatever revolutionary paradigm change you had, you're not going to get there. Do it again.
No, but the things that distinguish revolutionary paradigm change don't change. Like in the 1500s, the Copernican revolution has similarities to the Darwinian revolution. And then even very small things that that most people outside a specialty would not consider revolutionary, those types of cognitive change have similarities across them, which to me, it's much cheaper to make your changes conceptually because you don't have to build prohibitively expensive megastructures, especially in space.
But that doesn't buy. What does that buy you, though? I mean,
Well, it's like switching.
it's so much easier conceptually, but fuck yeah, but who cares? I mean, you still have to hit energies that are ridiculously high. And the only way to do that is to build gigastructures.
How did you reach the conclusion that you have to reach ridiculously high
Because things
energies?
happen at the Planck scale. You can't expose them at ordinary energies that we can achieve here on this planet, or even around the solar system. You have to.
So that's the only method to resolve these questions?
The only method we know of.
How do we know that that will resolve the question?
Well, we don't. But
Okay, so we don't know that investing this prohibitive amount of resources will answer the question, and we're going to ignore the principles of cognitive change that have been distinctive for every scientific revolution in the past.
there's no
To me, this
free
does not
lunch.
seem-
There's no free lunch. You don't get.
No one has said free lunch. You haven't seen that phrase escape my lips.
No, but what I'm saying is, you don't, just by changing your thinking, you don't get an easier theory. You still have.
Is that not a type of mind change?
No.
A new paradigm is not a mind change?
The smartest people in the world are working on string theory, and they are
Okay,
finding.
wait. Before you change to a historical perspective, which I'm fully interested in engaging, you just said that a paradigm shift of the type of revolution that we're hoping for is not a mind change. I think it is.
Paradigm shifts do not happen by planning. They don't happen because somebody says, let's do a paradigm shift, right? They happen because the data are overwhelmingly. Oh, there's Nuno. Hello, Nuno. Can you hear us? Not yet. Okay.
It takes
No.
a while. I had to reboot my machine to get back on.
Well, Nuno, when you can hear us, let us know.
I had to do something very similar because of the new change.
Windows.
So I think this whole paradigm change thing, I think it's fine, but I mean, it only works in the context of having experimental results that let you do it. I mean, and how do you
Okay, how did you reach that
how do you
conclusion?
get core information about quarks without higher energy? Well, come up with a clever way to do it with lower energy, and that would be a paradigm shift.
Why?
Yeah.
How do you know that that's a paradigm shift?
It's not a
What rule are you applying?
Well, I would say just by the fact that if you could measure quark phenomena at orders of magnitude less energy, that would be inherently a paradigm shift.
Why?
Because the current paradigm is that you require higher energies, and the new paradigm would be that you can do it with lower energies, and that would be a shift in paradigm.
Well, if I'm, let's say I'm looking toward running a mile. Let's say we're looking at humanity running a mile in a certain time. And like for a while, they said the 4-minute mile was impossible. Was someone running faster than a 4-minute mile a paradigm change because it was faster than someone thought?
No.
I agree. But by the...
Was it an order of magnitude faster, though? It was like 10 times faster?
No, it was only an incrementally faster improvement.
Well, 10 times is an increment. So to me...
Okay, right, yeah, 1,000,000 times is an increment. I mean, if you want to go into definitional, pedantic bullshit, then we could be wasting our time.
Okay.
Well,
Less than an order of magnitude.
if you want your words to mean something, then definitions are what you appeal to ordinarily.
Right, but if you just focus on what appear to be trivial differences, then you're wasting your time.
Well, if we're arguing about what constitutes a paradigm shift, then I think the definition does matter.
Okay, I say 10 to the third faster human running would be a paradigm shift.
Yeah. Now, somebody
Was that,
just
you
posted...
said yeah. Is yeah?
Okay.
Is that define yeah? You just said yeah.
Sure,
Is that a
I'll-
word? Is
sure.
that a word that you just used? Yeah.
Yes. Chiro just posted Thomas Kuhn's Thomas Kuhn reference. He invented the term paradigm for this framework that we use. And there is actually a Kuhnian school of philosophy of science that focuses on paradigm change and what is distinctive about this. And through history, what have been the distinguishing factors that it's it was once said paradigm shifts were compared to pornography. And there was that Chief Justice who said, well, I might not be able to define it, but I know it when I see it. And this is what you often get in these types of discussion when people want to express a revolutionary change in thinking. They will give examples, but not a definition, because definitions are devilishly difficult. But I
would also say definitions may also be inappropriate, like define life. I think life can be most explicitly described by a series of hallmarks, because the problem with definitions is if you come up with an exception, then your definition is no good. And with many phenomena, especially complex phenomena, it's practically impossible to come up with a definition that isn't, extremely elaborate so as to include everything you can imagine.
I think that's right on. I mean, when I was in high school, my chemistry teacher said, what is the definition? He drew a circle on the board. He said, a definition is everything inside the circle. Everything outside the circle is undefined, but that becomes impossible with some complex definitions like life. I agree with life. Life is very hard to define. Intelligence is very hard to define.
But most people within particular disciplines have a working understanding of the basic terminology, and they implicitly share definitions even if they haven't made them explicit.
Well, that's part
And
of what
so,
makes
you know,
that a paradigm, right? I mean, we all
that's what makes that's what makes it a paradigm.
we all
Shared
meet
vocabulary.
at the bar and we have beer and we talk about the definitions and we agree, right? And then
Well, a lot of times you never talk about the definitions. You talk about the subject matter in a shared terminology and the use of shared concepts that nobody is questioning at the time. And then that's what paradigm shifts emerge from outsiders questioning those concepts, and sometimes, usually unsuccessfully, but sometimes it turns out to be incredibly successful if you question an assumption.
Well, I would argue that humor depends on a key dynamic that is critical for paradigm change, and that is a violation of fundamental rules. So if I say, let's see, Neutron walks into a bar, orders a beer, and the bartender says, "For you, no charge."
Haha.
Okay, so the rule that was violated in that joke, if you experience humor as a result of that, you have a rule in your mind that says charge in this context means payment. Oh, wait, it's a neutron, so it's also electrical charge. The terminology used by the bartender violates this rule that I had for the setup of the joke. And this was something that was, I might even have that book around here where it's discussed. Professor Emeritus at Georgia Tech wrote this thing, Creating Scientific Concepts. And she studied, she's a real expert on Faraday, Michael Faraday, but she also has some very talented PhD students that she's supervised over the years, and they've studied paradigm change historically for a couple of decades now in the Kuhnian school. And was that Nick? Did you post that Kuhnian thing?
No, that was Chiro.
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 Anyway, these Nancy Nersession and her cohorts. There's a guy named Barker who's from University of Oklahoma. They have a great history and philosophy of science. MIT. Yeah, thank you for the reference, Nick. Anyway, they have done a lot of study about what constitutes paradigm change, how it happens. Nancy Nersession's work here has like the kind of things that from a management perspective we go crazy over: the inputs, the processes involved in when people are doing this kind of work, and then what results they come out with, and why it is specifically the criteria that we would use to apply to these things, that why people look at this new idea and say it's revolutionary. And it's kind of like humor in that you have to have these rules in advance. It's if somebody tells you a joke from another language, they can explain it to you and you can see how it would be funny, but you don't experience the humor. It's kind of like fire. We don't see that as revolutionary, but the first time somebody saw fire that was on a candle or on a match, it's miraculous.
No, you don't have to go back that far. I mean, Shakespeare's jokes are not particularly funny to modern people, but back in those days, they got everybody laughing in the whole theater.
And some of them are still funny.
You might have to get like totally shit-faced and stand around pissing on the ground for certain things to be funny.
You don't even have to recur to humor in this connection. People often remark that in raising children that they see the world through new eyes, and things that they've just taken for granted become miraculous and wonderful again.
No, pop music becomes horror.
Okay, well let's
children.
Here's a great example from children. So you tell a child, "Oh, we don't do that," and the child says, "Why do we don't?"
Why not?
No, why do we don't? I mean, it's like they're using rules of language that don't apply to the words they're using, but yet it makes sense and it's kind of funny.
Hmm.
Why do we don't? Well, we don't do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, go ahead, Nick. I was just
No,
Yeah,
I just wanted to make the observation that people, often say that about being around children. They see the world with new eyes again.
well, that is true, but sometimes those eyes are
Right. Well, we're setting
horrified by
aside
what they say.
we're setting aside adolescence and musical tastes, and we're just talking about the appreciation of butterflies and daisies and sunrises at the ocean and things like that.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a joke. I would like to know why this joke is funny. So the bartender says, "We don't serve your kind in here." A time traveler walks into a bar.
Hey, that sounds like something that Zach Weinersmith would do. Very good.
It's not my joke.
And a Star Wars fan would say, "Why don't you wait outside by the speeder? We don't want any trouble."
Here's the only joke I've
He
ever.
shot first. He shot first.
These aren't the droids
created one joke in my life. So how many libertarians does it take to screw in a light bulb?
That's for Nick.
None. The invisible hand will screw it in by itself.
Okay. Back to the point that I was making was that it seems to me a lot cheaper. And one of the things that we look for in business analysis and in project management is cost savings, and making our mistakes on paper or in thinking while we're going through and working through these things is infinitely cheaper. And in this case, we have zillions of reams of anomalous data that's already unexplained. And I'm a little bit skeptical that we need more terabytes of anomalous data we can't explain. And we should be investing in reformulations of the oceans of data that we have.
But
that
we don't
have
need
proven-
any data. We need special kinds of data that are only accessible in certain ways, like high energy levels. Yeah, most
You
most
may
of
be
the-
true, but how do you know that? Yeah, I mean, this may be right,
But
my question is, how do you know?
by inductive inference, because as our particle accelerators have increased in power, we've been able to discern particles that we could not previously discern, by the basic scientific definition of a 5 sigma deviation from randomness.
Okay, well,
Right or
I
not? I don't know.
I would
But-
disagree with that, given
but-
the fact that Symmetry Magazine is conducting, I think they've finished it now, but they were doing a monthly piece on what is a particle, and they had world famous physicists on every month doing their take on what is a particle. And to me, if we cannot answer the question of what is a particle other than a apparently lawfully related set of observations relative to experiments, doing more and more investigations with this paradigm is kind of it's not a wise investment of resources.
I disagree, because when physicists, when an esteemed physicist sits down to write an article on what is a particle, they're dabbling in philosophy. Most of them haven't studied philosophy, but they have spent a lifetime studying particle physics, and they know it forward and backward.
Mhm.
But every once in a while, just like every once in a while, a mathematician wants to write about the philosophy of mathematics, but they don't really know much about the philosophy of mathematics. Similarly, most
Yes.
physicists don't know much about the philosophy of physics, but every once in a while, they want to, on the weekend moments, they want to say, well, this is an old mathematics joke, is that mathematicians are Platonists on the weekday and nominalists on the weekends when they write their essays on philosophies of mathematics.
And you have to know philosophy to get that.
Maybe so, but when when they're doing physics, they're expanding knowledge. But this dilettantish essays on what is a particle. I mean, that's a philosophical question, and hopefully someday we can approach it with the experience and the rigor that we need to. But we're not really there yet. But we can, formulate rules about particles. Quantum theory is a perfect example of this. Quantum theory is the best confirmed history in the history of science. And there's enormous amount of evidence for it. It's highly predictive, but nobody can give you an intuitive exposition of it because it's not intuitive.
The brain does Aristotelian physics, because that's what evolution programmed.
Yeah, well, evolution programmed us
I
to
agree with that.
run from predators and to chase things that we could catch. And,
That too.
That's not a great background for quantum theory.
Exactly.
But
That's why it's not intuitive.
But we can improve our intuitions over time. And my favorite examples for this are the introduction of the concept of zero. When zero was introduced, it was considered higher level, very difficult and demanding mathematics. And now we teach it to kids when we teach them the number line. It's not a big deal. When Euclid wrote the fifth axiom on parallels, it's a horrible formulation, but mathematicians could understand it. And then in the 18th century, John Playfair introduced Playfair's axiom, which is, one point outside of a line, you can draw one line parallel to the other line. And it's much simpler and much more intuitively accessible, or what I prefer to call intuitive tractability. So we can improve our intuitions, and I think that in the future, we will improve our intuitions about quantum theory, but we're just not there yet. We need a few hundred more years of thinking about it.
Its intuition is not, the intuitability is not there because in our realm, we don't have the empirical ability to experience quantum phenomenon at the macro level. If it was the other way, if we lived in a quantum world, it would probably not be intuitive to understand the realm that we do live in empirically right now. It would be the other way around, perhaps.
Wasn't there some video game
popping
experiment?
in and out of existence and see that as a normal thing.
Wasn't there just some video game thing where they programmed the video game to work according to quantum rules and people got really good at it? I don't really follow such things, but I mean that would suggest that it's possible to develop the intuition.
Buck,
I think I heard something about that, but I couldn't cite the paper.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I saw some internet shit, and there's just
Buck,
too much.
basically what you're doing is being the philosopher. First of all, I can't stand philosophy because it's all about talking about talking. Second of all, you can't just say, oh, I can't figure this out unless we do this other experiment, so therefore I'm just going to change my way of thinking because we're going to just do this anyway, even though it seems to be impossible, so we're going to just think about it a different way.
It's a good thing that I never said anything like that.
But I'm just exaggerating, which you did actually say that in under exaggerated. What the point is that you have to make the experiment. That's the way it works. You have to.
Okay, convince me.
You have to. Oh, how do you make that conclusion? Is your favorite statement every?
You provide evidence. Provide evidence for your position.
To provide the evidence, you have to make the experiment. There's no two ways about it.
What is the justification that I have to make an experiment to resolve information when I've already got oceans of anomalous data?
You have oceans of anomalous data, and therefore your data is flawed. You need to find your answer. You need to find out how it is that you're going to figure this out. You can't just say, okay, I'll make something up. You can't just say, oh, I got all these experiments. Science works that way. Science says, well, if the experiment fails, then you have to find some other way. And that's the way it works. If you find that you have the anomalous data, means that maybe you're not thinking about it right. So you have to think of a different way. This is the same way.
Exactly what I'm
saying. It's the same way they came to the conclusion that they can't find these certain things unless they go to a higher energy. And every time they went to a higher energy, they found these other certain things. And every time they did that, there was another certain thing they couldn't find. That's just the way it is. You can't just say we got to save $1 billion because we can't do this experiment.
If you've got a good enough idea, you can just throw out the idea and people will try to find ways to prove it or disprove it. That's what Einstein did.
Well, that's how hypothesizing is all about.
Right. And it was good enough that in 1919 they looked at the sun very carefully during an eclipse and determined that it was a predictive theory. You could do something with it, and you could even build technologies based on it.
Right.
That is one, not the only proof, but that's one proof of the efficacy of a scientific theory, is if you can turn it into a technology.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get a thought. I think this is the way this works. So you hypothesize about it, and then you try and find an experiment that you can do to prove it or to disprove it, for that matter. And in Einstein's case, it was well proven. In fact, we would not be able to do what we're doing right now on these computers if E did not equal MC squared.
Well, one thing that strikes me about general relativity, which Nick was just referring to, is that it's incredibly beautiful and elegant theory. And I've studied it at some depth, and it is the mathematics and the concepts are so beautiful and so elegant and so simple, really, at some level of abstraction. Not high school algebra level, but that you wonder, why is this theory so effective in describing everything that we can see that it predicts? It's just I'm still boggled by that. And it's not just the eclipses that Eddington observed. It's not just the perihelion of Mercury, how it moves, that Einstein very elegantly explained. There's neutron stars, there's black holes, about, what was it, about 10 years after Einstein published his paper, Schwarzschild came out with saying, oh, look, here's the solution to the Einstein theory that predicts a singularity. And it turned out to be black holes. And black holes were predicted at least 50 years before they were observed. And it's an incredibly beautiful, perfect theory that no one has found an exception to yet. How is it that such an aesthetically pleasing thing is true?
Well, Einstein would have said, how could anything that's not aesthetically pleasing be true? Which is why he said his little finger told him that something was not right about quantum theory.
Well, he was wrong about that, but maybe...
Well, we don't know that yet.
I don't know. I think quantum theory is quite beautiful in a very abstract way.
It is.
I don't really understand why Einstein... I mean, only if you think action at a distance is spooky, can you think...
Well, I think Einstein was wrong for the right reasons, but which is almost as good as being right for the wrong reasons. But
Paul, you just gave this great expression of the beauty of Einstein's theory. I mean, that's Einstein felt the same way about it, and that's quantum theory might have a certain kind of abstract beauty, but it's not the kind of beauty that you find in relativity theory, which is a classic and continuous theory, and quantum theory is a non-classical and discontinuous theory.
Well, I mean, at the beginning of his career...
Well, if you look at David Bohm's interpretation... Sorry, go ahead.
At the beginning of his career, he was in favor of a static universe, right? It was...
yeah.
He was,
and then when he was
George, somebody who introduced the...
He met with Hubble, and Hubble convinced him that was not true.
The phrase "Big Bang" was actually a misnomer. It was just sort of a,
Well, that's
right. It was
that's
like
why
a joke by Fred Hoyle, right?
Well, that's why he added the cosmological constant.
And the cosmological constant, he claimed that it was his biggest mistake. Turned out to be later on, just recently, dark energy, which is really the same thing.
It's a cipher for something we don't understand, because we don't understand the acceleration of the expansion of the universe.
Right.
So, and we can describe that with dark energy, and we can decide and say modify the cosmological constant so it's expanding instead of contracting or equilibrium state, but we still don't know what it is.
Right. Well, we have to give these things a name, and we call them dark energy and dark matter, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're actually matter or energy, right? I mean,
I prefer to call them the great mystery.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion over the fact that there's dark energy and dark matter, because people, even myself included, at first, thought it was two sides of the same coin. It turns out that they're just completely different things.
Well, dark matters are my favorite things because we're probably wrong about what it is, but we have to make a hypothesis anyway.
Right. But the reason why they call it dark is because they can't see it. It's as simple as that.
Well, no,
But calling it matter is another thing that's liable to bias our inquiry.
Well,
I certainly agree with that.
The
But the
difference-
thing
That's why that's why we make the distinction between baryonic and non-baryonic matter. So
But the thing is-
baryonic matter is that which interacts on an electric magnetic level, and dark energy, or excuse me, dark matter does not interact with light or electromagnetic or energy.
well,
But we're still calling it
but it does-
matter,
but it
and
does
all
have
we have
gravity.
is a metric observation.
Well,
And this
and-
is the same
No,
for
no,
particles and other
It's not
things.
gravity. The gravity is shown. So there's some matter there that is causing the
well, okay, I agree. The word matter is very abstract in this case, but it allows theorists to come up with hypotheses that can be tested. And
it's
if they're,
because of the gravitational force that they're seeing, that they called it matter that they can't see, or dark matter.
Unless you're into modified Newtonian dynamics. then
Right,
it's not.
right. Yes, thank you. I was going to say yes. Unless you want to modify gravity, then
By the way, dark matter is a cause, and dark energy is an effect.
Sorry, could you repeat
Dark
that?
matter is a cause, and dark energy is an effect.
Okay, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, dark matter is an hypothetical explanation for what causes those anomalies that we've observed, for instance, at the peripheries of the galaxies. That rotate.
Right.
Dark energy, on the other hand, is not a cause, is an effect. In other words, it's an observed effect, which is the acceleration of the universe that could be caused by something, which we don't know what that something is. So
I think they're calling that dark energy. I think they're postulating, they're using this placeholder term, like gene. You know, gene used to, in biology, gene was kind of the placeholder. They didn't have any definition of it. And still now there's like a half dozen definitions depending on
They just
what
said
you're concerned with.
he just said that. In other words, it's Ciro was right. It's an effect.
Right.
But
Dark
we don't
energy.
know what it
I'm
is
not-
yet. We don't
I'm
know
not
what
saying
it's
that
causing.
I'm not saying that they're related to each other. I'm just saying that there's a subtlety in dark matters and between dark matter and dark energy, in which one is a cause and the other one is an effect. If you
Right.
think about
That's why they're two different things.
right?
No, I don't think, I'm not sure I agree with that. I think dark energy is the postulated cause or hypothesized cause of the galactic rotation anomalies that have been observed.
That would
And
be
I
dark
think
matter.
dark energy
no,
is the,
you got it backwards.
Yeah, that's dark matter.
Buck.
oh, did I say dark energy?
Yeah.
I meant
Yeah.
dark matter.
Yeah, dark
And
matter.
then dark energy is the hypothesized cause of the accelerating expansion of the universe.
That's right. Yeah.
Well-
But there's more to it, the dark matter than that, though. Dark matter's got more observational evidence.
Yeah, I'm drawing with, I mean, I'm painting with a very broad brush for brevity.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Dark energy may be the cause of the acceleration,
Acceleration of the
but,
universe.
but dark energy itself is actually an effect.
Well, in dark matter, we also see
Well,
these dark galaxies that have very little luminosity, but shouldn't be hanging together, but they are, which makes sense only and also cosmology. The cosmological theories we have only really make sense in terms of observational evidence if we have dark matter. So there's dark matter really pretty much is the glue that holds all this stuff together.
If there
If
were,
our understanding of gravity is correct.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, so far it seems to be extremely correct, even more correct. than we
It does.
dreamed of.
It seems
well,
to be.
except
it
for these
seems to be so.
anomalous observations, right?
Except for the anomalies. Everything's perfect except for the anomalies.
Even dark energy, there's been papers that the universe really hasn't been, well, we already know that hasn't been constantly accelerating, but so there was also some papers that stated that the universe has been oscillating, meaning that there's been even more variations, in the acceleration and acceleration of the expansion of the universe.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
well, that's cool. I mean, we don't know everything. That I like that.
That's an obvious fact. We don't know everything.
If matter were a standing wave of energy that we observe, how would we know that it's not? How would we be able to detect that it's different than energy?
I think you need to write that up, Buck, because I don't understand what you meant.
Well, I'm kind of these articles that have come out on, well, what is a particle, and people debating what is a particle.
The nature of man, basically.
The relationship, you know, the E equals MC squared relationship, to me suggests that matter and the interactions and all these observations and measurements that we're making, they're observations, and that the firmest ground to stand on is to say, look, we have these observations, and I take great exception with quantum mechanics in that to me, it seems to conflate epistemology, how we know something and to what degree of certainty we know it, and the reality that is out there. A fundamental principle of science, a foundational principle, is that there is a lawful reality out there which we can investigate. Quantum mechanics.
Well, that's scientific realism, and it's distinct from science itself.
Yes, I agree.
And then there are multiple interpretations of quantum theory, which you know, there's the Copenhagen interpretation, there's the many worlds interpretation, and some of the Heisenberg was quite explicit about conflating the epistemic issues and the ontological issues in quantum theory, and he was willing to take a stand on the fact that this isn't just our lack of knowledge; this indeterminacy was in the universe itself. But
he did.
But we are.
And my question is how.
But we don't have to agree with Heisenberg.
I don't agree with him.
Right.
I'm happy to be convinced.
Okay, you need to call up Heisenberg and have a conversation.
No, I'm uncertain.
Bring Walter White on.
Well, no,
I'm happy to be convinced, but
Walter White is my hero, by the way.
Until there's a good reason to.
My hero is David Bohm.
Until there's a good reason to bring those two together and say this uncertainty isn't in our minds, it's that the universe is uncertain. I'm willing to be convinced, but in that case, if we're going to make such a radical shift, I think that our reasoning needs to be examined, so that but like standard logic becomes very hard to apply when the foundations for standard logic are being violated.
Well, that's why you have matrix mechanics. I mean, that's why you have quantum mechanics. I mean, it all works. You can predict anything you want.
You can predict observations that we will make.
Yes.
But
what else do you ask for?
Well, a certain kind of thing that goes beyond everything unfolds according to the will of Elvis.
No, not Elvis.
Why not? Okay, I can maintain that as well as Heisenberg can maintain quantum mechanics.
No, you can't.
Now, I may have to be very careful.
Heisenberg can predict the energy levels of atoms.
Okay.
Or their spin, or their direction.
All kinds of things. It wasn't just Heisenberg. It was lots of other people, but can
Heisenberg predict whether or not I'm all shook up?
Yes. In fact, I just got an email from Heisenberg saying Buck is all fucked up. No, sorry, shook up.
I have a question that relates to previous discussion about using high energy physics to detect particles, and it's regards the are we living in a simulation versus a reality? Now, I suggest my suggestion is, are you all familiar with the Rowhammer attack?
No, explain, please.
So okay. So in computers, you know, in the RAM of a computer. Okay, if you you probably don't know it by this name, but you probably already heard it. It's like if you set ones and zeros in a certain area of RAM, you know, according to a certain pattern, it can affect, just by physics, it can affect the state of nearby bits. Okay, so if you can change a bit nearby a bunch of other bits, you can then, you know, escalate your attack and gain, you know, root privileges and so forth. It's
I've
called the
never heard of
Rowhammer
that.
attack. Are you familiar with this attack?
No.
It worked on the Pentium.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Some of you are. Anyway,
Well-
if we're living in a simulation, it should be possible to do the equivalent of a Rowhammer attack in the universe, but it might take, you know, a light year sized, you know, particle accelerator to do this. But it's theory. So I've seen it said that it's impossible to detect whether we're living in a simulation, and I object to that because I think something the equivalent of a Rowhammer attack,
There is no
be able
spoon.
to be to the substrate level of whatever it is that's simulating us.
Yeah. There is no spoon.
You
Well-
can't prove you can't disprove solipsism. You can't disprove the evil genius with the brain in a vat hypothesis. That can't be.
Well, I think the brain of that, I think you could disprove, but living in a simulation is different. That, you are a simulation.
That's what the Matrix was the brain in a vat.
Yeah, the Matrix is bullshit. But
The brain in a vat is what it was.
yeah, but brain in a vat
Yeah.
is nonsense. But the simulation hypothesis is not a brain in a vat.
Yeah,
It's
but it made a great sci-fi movie.
your brain is a simulation.
It made a great sci-fi movie. By the way,
Yeah.
Well,
Mike,
your brain is a
Too
simulation.
many
It's
machine
tight-
guns.
Your brain is a
You were
simulation
done.
that's tightly coupled to what's coming in from the central nervous system. And people fetishize too much of what's happening just within the brain when there's enormous happening all throughout the central nervous system. And that's what's happening in the central nervous system is tightly coupled to, you know, the empirical information that's coming into you every moment that you're aware of it.
Mhm.
Yes,
So you
part
can-
of your consciousness is in other people. I mean, why limit yourself to a single nervous system when you're talking about an individual consciousness? I mean,
Well, we're not at the
whatever's
level yet
happening
where we
in
can.
your brain is a result of your interactions with other people, and vice versa. So, I mean, some spark of your existence, you know, is outside of your cranium
Well, I mean,
in a way that affects your cranium. What's inside your cranium?
situated cognition. What your cognition is actually throughout your whole body. It's not just, and even the environment around you. It's not just your brain, but and that's why AI, a lot of AI fails because it doesn't exist in that environment.
Well, but
It's not,
and
it's
this-
not
this
operating
can
a robot, so it can't truly be AI.
Cyril has mentioned that as one of his primary arguments against the Chinese room argument. But you know, you can
Refresh
go
us,
about the Chinese room argument.
please.
Okay, wait a minute. That's pretty deep. We only have like 2 minutes left.
Oh no!
oh, by the way, but
Well, I you guys can go on talking, but I wanted to get Mike Bowler to speak up. Mike, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Just along for the ride, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
These discussions are way over my head.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too. But I've had too much wine, so I can't tell.
Yeah.
Mike. The last few weeks have been pretty interesting in the political world. What's going on in the conspiracy theory area?
Oh yeah.
Well, definitely. I've been looking into this belief, or there's a narrative going on, or I don't know what you want to call it, but that when Alex Jones, famous crank and nutcase,
I mean, you're saying Alex Jones actually exists. Okay.
yeah, he actually exists. And
He's in the cabinet.
no, but he had what comes out of Alex Jones' mind and mouth one day, a day later, it comes out of Donald Trump's mouth.
Oh. Who could have predicted that?
And Yeah.
So no,
but-
wait. Dean has a solution. He's got algae. It'll take the sewage and no, never mind.
Did you see the video? Did you see the video where Alex Jones trolled Senk of the Young Turks to his face? That was funny.
No.
I guess I'm the only one watching alt-right videos of the group here.
I'm not
Okay.
watching them.
I actually had to. I've got a mother, or my brother's mother-in-law. She's on all these alt-right, and for all day, my phone is going crazy with the latest not so bullshit that's coming off these sites. So I've actually, I literally, for my own sanity, I had to shut that off. I didn't drop her as a friend, but for some reason Facebook decided it
You're a
wanted
better
to.
man than I am.
So I just shut it off because it's bad enough when Alex Jones.
Sorry, Mike. I don't believe you. You're fake news.
Well, yeah, I'm the alternative media, like Paul is with his WoW signal. We're all publishing fake stuff, right?
I do not publish fake stuff.
Neither do I.
I
so-
publish very little, but
I call
Bob
it
is
highly
trying to change that.
speculative, but I don't call it fake.
Okay. No, but it's just
Just remember that Patrick is always right.
yeah.
Patrick is always right. I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
Yeah, well, I thought I was a wit, but I was only half right.
But yeah, I'm learning more. Actually, now that the nice thing I think is now Alex Jones is starting to show his true inner imbecile or idiot because he was on Joe Rogan's show. Now I've been listening to him to get material, and I've got at least 10 years worth of his shows on MP3.
Is garbage in it? What?
Yeah. And he rarely
You
ever
can run it through a turf scrubber. It's garbage.
that should be good for that would definitely end the global warming and the CO2 output. But a lot of his stuff,
This is Alex Jones.
Alex Jones, he
Okay.
tends to avoid bringing religion or the real fringe craziness. Well, he was on Joe Rogan, and he went into full moron and started spouting about how the fourth dimension, that demons pass from the fourth dimension into the third dimension, and that's when they become reptilians. Now, if you follow David Icke, if you're from
Is
I
that how
can
you
see
say his
how
name?
that might actually make sense in some sort of
That's how you say the
cabinet
name.
level way.
well, he says scientists. This is
Wait,
scientific
Icke?
facts according to Jones.
Okay, it's Ike.
Yes, it's David Icke.
David Icke. Icke.
David Ike. Okay.
ICKE.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he believes that all the higher ups, the president, the Queen of England, are reptilian shapeshifters.
Reptoids. Yeah.
Or
From that,
Illuminati. Or Illuminati that know about the reptilian shapeshifters.
Oh no,
but they
wait,
themselves
no,
reptilians.
that's wrong. That is wrong. See, the reptilians control the gray aliens, who control the Illuminati and the Freemasons.
Makes
Sorry,
sense.
my bad.
It's a hierarchy. See the
Is this a
reptilians,
Doctor Who episode?
possibly anything's.
I
Yeah,
thought it was the land of
Doctor Who's relatively rational.
I
yeah.
thought it was the land of Lost.
Yeah, because I think the reptilians do eat children and rape children, so they use the Greys to kidnap children. That's
Ah,
where
so
the
it's-
Oh, so the
pedophilia.
reptilians are the Catholic Church. Okay, I get it.
And
Well,
they
no,
all-
wait, no,
Call
no,
them
no,
pizza-
no, no, no,
pizza
no,
poem or whatever.
no.
No,
No,
as far
see-
as I know, the Catholic Church does not actually eat children.
Right. No. See, that the Catholic Church is actually the enemy of the reptilians because they're controlled by another group of reptilians. There's like two factions at war. That's again,
So
this is
are you reporting something that someone actually says?
someone actually said this
Jesus
stuff.
Christ.
Yeah, well, David Icke has written several books on the reptilians,
Hey, wait,
Yeah.
wait. What is Jesus?
and the
have
truth will set you free.
Well, there's like I said, I'm trying to actually pull some of this stuff together and try and make it doesn't make sense, but it there's parts that do, or at least
That's
trying
true
to,
of any collective delusion.
You're looking
Parts
for
of-
the internal consistency, but not,
the actual, yeah,
it,
because
it breaks when you connect it to reality.
right, yeah,
Well,
because
it connects to the reality of people's lives as they perceive them, and that might not be a scientifically verified reality, but the fears and the anxieties of the ordinary person in the contemporary technological world. Some people need this to cope.
oh yeah,
you know?
well, yeah, but it's like I know it has a lot to do with. I mean, actually, I think that's what may have driven many voters into voting for Trump. Because
I was about to say the very same thing.
yeah, because they're fearful. The Republicans have gotten everybody afraid of Muslims.
But you have to make a distinction between Trump and the Republicans. Trump is an opportunist who happened to get elected. Most mainstream Republicans hate him and want to get rid of him.
That's true. That is true. But
So
certainly,
you have to keep those two separate, because if you conflate them, you will completely misunderstand what's going on in the U.S. today.
yeah.
But how are they trying? Are they trying to get rid of him? I mean, I thought they were mostly.
Well, they're trying to undermine him on an institutional level, but they have to play nice in public because they want those cabinet positions. They want the influence in the White House, but they would love to take him out and have a reliable conservative Republican like Pence in place of him. I mean, everybody knows this. Everybody knows this in the political arena.
I heard this week about Mag Dog Madison, the new defense secretary, who said that climate change is a threat to national security.
You know your government is in trouble when the most reasonable voice in government is Mad Dog.
Oh, Mad Dog has actually always been reasonable. He's just a warrior, right?
Yeah, he got that name because he's a general, and he got that name for his career in battlefield, I guess.
Well, he's a Marine warrior, and that's how he got to be a general. But now he's Secretary of Defense, he has to say things that are, and he actually came out and said this week, I believe, that climate change is a serious national security issue.
Well, the military has to prepare for stuff like this. They can't afford the kind the kind of garbage that gets thrown out to red meat speeches to the unwashed masses. That's what Trump specializes in. But the military has to prepare for contingencies like climate change, because if they got caught wrong-footed, well, that's it.
He's a fearmonger, a liar, a scumbag all around, and yet he is our president. I don't know how the fuck he got himself in there, but
come on, come up with better insults than that.
I wish there was, like in Star Wars, we had that senator in Star Wars who Queen Amidala voted
Senator
out.
Palpatine.
Yes,
yeah.
Palpatine was voted for
War powers. He was voted war powers.
Vote for no confidence. That's what we need here in the United States. A vote for no confidence against Trump.
But we don't have a parliamentary system, so we
No,
don't
we
get
don't have that. Well, gentlemen, I myself am going to leave. I have to brush my teeth and go to bed.
Okay. Well, Dean, thanks for showing up. You had some great stuff to share
Great.
with us.
Message me on Algae if you.
We're gonna try to get you hooked up with the Alma. Seriously, we are.
And believe me, I'll give a talk at Goddard.
And Goddard, yeah. Well, what you get to talk at Goddard?
Or my own fantasies, whatever it takes, I'll do it.
No, you will definitely do it.
I love to give talks. I'm an excellent speaker. People will love my talk.
He's going to throw you some shit.
Okay, you will tell them how to save the world through algae farming and
Yep.
Believe me, people at Goddard will suck that up with a spoon.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And if I can get a job, that's what I'm looking for. So.
I'm a guy that's rooting for you because the company I work for deals a lot with alternative energy. So I'm hoping you do succeed. So
Okay,
kick ass out
read
there.
my paper. Bioenergy is bullshit, but
We have a link here. We have a
Okay.
Nick found a link, so we will
it's
definitely.
on there. So it's been a real pleasure. I hope to do this again with you all.
Yeah.
So, Morgan, thank you very much. Whoever's doing that using the app, and okay, I'll wave away. Bye.
It's well. So trying to say it's a pleasure.
Dean was awesome. I like him. I wish hoping we see him again. He's doing all kinds of interesting work. And I don't know much about the algae stuff, but it sounds to me like a really important thing to think about.
It's a growth industry.
It sounds like a lot of shit to me. I'll never.
Well, it is a lot of shit. That's why he's doing it. Because people like you and me eat a lot of bacon. All right, so there's a lot of shit. All right. You know, we're gonna sign off pretty soon here. I think it's we've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. This has been the best Unseen Pub ever so far. We didn't argue about Microsoft apps one time, although Word is still a piece of shit. Anybody want to say anything final before we log off?
Shit.
We still have, by the way, still have 2 viewers who have not identified themselves, but I suspect it's Elon Musk and Donald Trump, but
I thought it was Jeff Bezos and
Or the NSA.
or NSA. Jihad.
Yeah. If Donald Trump, fuck you, Trump.
Okay, everybody's 1, 2, 3. Fuck Trump. By the way, we use some
bump the Trump.
we use some bad words in this pod. This not a podcast. This is the Unseen Podcast spinoff, Unseen Pub, where there are no rules and no agenda, and who am I to talk? You guys say the last word.
For unlawful carnal knowledge.
Is there a segue after that?
I'm all in favor of carnal knowledge, by the way.
Unlawful, I think he said.
For unlawful, that's where the word "fuck" comes from. For unlawful carnal knowledge.
No, I think that's an Anglo-Saxon.
For share, it comes from the piercing movement of a sword thrust.
I don't think that's right either.
Come on! And I tried to say it with such conviction.
It's a Saxon word.
No, I thought that's what it really was. I looked it up on Google one time. And
Back it must be true then.
Back in the
I
days,
saw it on the internet.
Back in the days of the Pilgrims, women could be arrested for unlawful carnal knowledge.
Well, anybody could have been at some point.
I guess so. Yeah, for unlawful carnal knowledge. Fuck.
Or because they were a witch.
Or because they were just women who didn't have a husband. They were living their own lives. Yeah. Which seems like a pretty good career for a woman. And I would refer you to Terry Pratchett's character, Granny Weatherwax, who was a very successful woman who never had a husband. Okay.
Okay.
Let's wind it down here unless somebody wants to say something final, great words of wisdom, like fuck Trump or what,
Well, I'd like to just mention that sometime I'd like to call her Buck and have a good long discussion about scientific method, because we've touched on that several times, but we've never gotten into it in any serious way.
Yeah, I'd like to. I would like to do that as well, especially regarding what I see as the very risky conflation of epistemology and ontology in quantum mechanics.
Okay, well that's a very deep topic that's going to require some expertise, I think.
I think there needs to be a conference. I think we need to organize a conference on scientific method and its future.
Oh, I love it.
Has there not been such a conference before?
I'm sure there's been several.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave it there. Patrick, anything last thing to say? Did you get your chess software installed properly?
Fuck. I don't know what else to say.
Mike Bowler, anything else to say?
Fuck Trump.
How about you, Chiro?
Time is the arbitrary representation of discrete perceived changes in reality.
Oh,
love it.
source of that?
so in a nutshell,
Wow.
fuck Trump. Okay.
What's the source of that? What's the source? Is that yours?
Well,
Write
okay.
it down.
Okay, look,
It's an
we're
older.
not
thing.
going to resolve anything right now. We'll get back to this conversation in a few weeks. By the way, the next Unseen pub is intended to be at a Euro-friendly time, which means for it'll be like Saturday morning here.
Oh, good.
And I want to give people like Daniela and Mateusz and Adam a chance to do one of these without having to stay up to ridiculous hours. I know Daniela absolutely refuses to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't blame her. And she has lots of interesting ideas. I think you're going to want to hear what she has to say. So, and hopefully some other people like Gita and others. So, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night.